Alright, after Eddy broke my heart last time, we're going to continue on with our romantic goal, as well as continuing our diligence, because I had to stick a man several times until I got his IV right, and he sweared at me in German and demanded a new nurse. That's kind of terrible. I can understand why he would do that. What does the outside world look like again? I haven't left the house in so long that I've forgotten. Oh, fine. We'll go for a run. Couple yoga classes. Maybe I'll go to bed early. And then relax at home. Just get all rejuvenated for this coming week. I was feeling really anxious before, but not so much anymore. It feels good to go for a run every once in a while. Not only do I feel healthier, but I also saw a lot of squirrels. What's not to like about that? Is he ever going to come to bed? Oh well, I guess I'll catch a late show. Oh, they're interviewing my favorite actress. Felt good to take some time for myself. Creativity this time. He's smiling. That's good, right? Getting in touch with my artistic side might strengthen my creative thinking abilities. Okay. Is that making dinner? Yes. Okay, let's make dinner. Eddy complimented the dinner I made. Whoa! I only made something simple, but it tasted great. I'll be keeping that recipe for future use. Eddy just wants some good food. Alright. I flip through the channels again, hoping desperately that something will catch and hold my attention. Eddy is away at another convention, and you guessed it, I'm home alone. Again. When we first got married, I assumed that the convention business trips would be few and far between. Apparently, though, they seem to be a pretty common occurrence for Eddy. He's off to the airport at least once a month to attend these 3-day gatherings. I know it's an important part of his job, but I can't help but feel bitter about it. It would at least be nice if I could attend them with him, but they don't let nurses off to go on business trips with their husbands. It's understandable since we're currently understaffed, but that doesn't mean I'm not still going to be upset about it. After not finding anything even remotely interesting on TV, I decide to seek social interaction rather than escapism. Oh. Friends. I pull out my phone and scroll through my contact list, trying to decipher which of my friends might be free on a Friday night. Eddy, Leah, Carrie, Gwenda, or the hospital. I wonder if Gwenda will show up again. I eventually decide upon two of my longtime friends, Leah and Carrie. Leah is one of my more introverted friends, but I enjoy being with her because she's always willing to listen to whatever I have to say. When she does speak, it's usually something meaningful and well thought out, so I always get something out of our conversations. She's also a newlywed, so maybe she'll be able to relate to the problems I'm having. The other friend I'm reaching out to is Carrie. Carrie is a few years older than Leah and I, and she thinks this qualifies her to give us advice. Though she's never been married, she has been in many relationships and considers herself an expert. She's brash and loud, but ultimately cares about Leah and I. The only reason she vehemently demands that we take her advice is because she doesn't want us to do anything we'd regret, like she has. Excited about the possibility of having girl time, I hastily set up a 3-way call. Leah and Carrie both answer, and fortunately for me, they're both free tonight too. We chat briefly, but eventually decide to head to our favorite pub, the Woolly Scarf. That way we can relax with a few drinks and chat in a more intimate setting, because talking over the phone isn't much fun. Let me tell you. I slap on just enough makeup to make myself look acceptable, grab my purse, and then head out the door, where I'll meet one of my ex-boyfriends at the pub, probably. Ah, this good old pub. After a stressful drive through the rain, I make it to the pub safely. As I enter the building, I see that my two friends have beat me there and already snagged a booth. Carrie throws up her arms and waves at me as if I didn't already see them. I hurry over and slide into the booth next to Leah and give her a quick hug. Carrie, unable to restrain herself, leans across the table and engulfs me in her arms. I place my drink order. Leah and Carrie have already received theirs, and the three of us begin chatting. What have you been up to, kiddo? Nothing much. I've mostly just been busy with work. But not tonight, eh? Where's that husband of yours? Is he at work? Yes, well, kind of. He's on a business trip. Eddy goes on a lot of business trips, doesn't he? Yeah, he says it's an important part of his job. I never knew that physicians had to go on business trips in addition to their daily practice. Well, technically he doesn't have to. The hospital needs to send a representative to medical conventions in order to stay up to date. Eddy attends panels, product showcases, and whatever else, then writes a detailed report for the hospital when he gets back. Wait, so what I'm hearing is that they just need to send a doctor, not Eddy specifically? Any old doctor would do? I'm caught off guard by the question. Carrie is right, as much as I hate to admit it. The waitress comes by and places my drink on the table, and I give her a polite thank you wave before answering Carrie's question. Yes, technically, but Eddy likes the responsibility. Sounds to me like he wants to shrug off his marital duties. You know, I once dated a man that went on a lot of business trips. Turned out he had a whole nother family in Costa Rica. Carrie, that's a rather drastic conclusion you're jumping to. I'm sure Eddy doesn't have a secret family or anything, Amy. However, it is a bit fishy that he would volunteer for all of these business trips. You'd think a newlywed man would want to spend as much time with his wife as possible. You mean you haven't had similar problems with your husband? No. In fact, sometimes he wants to take sick days so he can spend the day with me. I have to make him go to work. Really? I've never had that issue with Eddy. An uncomfortable silence lingers among the group. Not sure what to do, I take a few sips from my margarita. Finally, Carrie speaks up. I hate to be the one to say this, honest, but are you actually happy, Amy? 'Cause you've still got time. You're young, attractive, successful. There are plenty of guys that would be interested in you. Just because you made one wrong choice doesn't mean you have to live with it forever. You can still get out. I can't believe I'm hearing this. Is Carrie really suggesting I get a divorce? Drastic much? Astonished, I turn to Leah. Leah, do you think I should... I can't even bring myself to say the word. Leah's sympathetic eyes meet mine. I can tell she's thinking hard about what she wants to say. Well, you two don't sound like the best match. I'm shocked. Even Leah, my cool-headed friend, thinks I should get a divorce. Sheesh, fickle much. You got fickle friends. Sheesh, I pause, unsure what to say. I don't want to lie to my friends, but it does hurt to hear them attack Eddy. I mean, I think we've got a better marriage than she did with Aaron so far. Should I be honest with them or lie to steer the conversation away from my marriage? I'm not gonna confide in you guys. Everything's fine. You guys are overreacting. I know I complain about Eddy sometimes, but our marriage is fine. Soon he'll have more time to spend with me, and I won't need to vent like this. I mean, how selfish would it be of me to expect him to sacrifice all that he's worked for so far in his career? I don't want to hold Eddy back. I want to see him achieve his dreams. Then after that, we'll spend more time together. I'm sure of it. I looked at my friends expectantly, hoping they'll buy my speech so that we can drop the subject. They don't look convinced. You don't have to defend him. We're all friends here. You can be honest with us. I'm not going to let you brush this off. It is better if we talk things through. A different perspective can provide clarity. I don't need your perspective. You don't know my husband like I do, okay? Jeez, I came here to clear my head and all you two have done is give me a migraine. We'll catch up another time, after you two are ready to stop picking apart my husband, okay? Amy! Good job, girl! Frustrated, I abruptly exit the booth and make my way out of the pub. Friends like these. As I try to insert my keys into the car, I notice that my hands are shaking. They only do that when I'm furious. Finally, I'm able to unlock my car and get inside. I take a few moments to cool down, then I turn on the ignition and make my way home. I enter the apartment feeling emotionally exhausted by what was supposed to be a soothing night out. Immediately, I plop down on the couch, feeling as if I could fall asleep right there. It occurs to me that I should check my phone before I retire to bed, so I fish it out of my purse and look at the screen. I have a missed call from Eddy! He must have called earlier when I was in the pub. I hit the redial button and hold the phone to my ear, eager to hear my husband's voice after an especially difficult night. It rings and rings, but Eddy never picks up. Disappointed, I leave a voicemail and then go lay down in bed. Eddy's probably just sleeping and didn't hear his phone ring. Right? No, I'm sure that's not it at all. He's got a family in Costa Rica. I knows it. Okay, let's get this creativity train going. Blah, I think my dinner gave us food poisoning. But it's the thought that counts, right? Well, I'm poisoning Eddy forever now, because I'm too tired. Sorry, Eddy. Time to work overtime again. And I'm getting sweared at in German every day this week. I'm dying! Zap me with a defibrillator! Funnel coffee! Hey, want to go out to eat tonight? I hear my husband's voice as I wash dishes in the kitchen. Eddy came back from the conference earlier this afternoon, but he spent most of the day resting on the couch due to a bad case of jet lag. Sure. I yell back my response as I scrub dried food off of a festive colored plate. Eddy and I bought this plate in an antique shop on our honeymoon. That seems so long ago now. Where do you want to go? What? I'm having a hard time hearing him over the running water and clinking of silverware and ceramic. I said, where do you want to go? Eddy, if you want to talk, then come in here. I can hardly hear you, and I don't like yelling. My voice carries a bit of an edge to it, but I can't help it. Eddy just returned home from his second business trip this month. I suppose he thinks eating out is going to somehow make up for the abandonment, but he's not going to be able to make up for much with jet lag. Honestly, I'll be surprised if he stays awake long enough for the waiter to take his order. Not that I'm mad that Eddy has jet lag. I know he didn't choose to feel ill. It's just... ever since my chat with Carrie and Leah at the pub, I've had a growing feeling of bitterness towards Eddy. What they said was true. Eddy doesn't have to go on all of these business trips. He only chooses to in order to advance his career. If he really loved me, wouldn't he pull back on his career aspirations to spend more time with me? I'm not asking that he stop being a doctor or anything, but couldn't he make a little more time for me? Carrie was right. He does have more responsibilities now. He has duties to me that he's totally neglecting. I feel a pair of arms wrap around me, pulling me out of my thoughts. Eddy places his tired head on my shoulder and whispers something in my ear. Are you mad at me? Why would you think that? Why didn't you answer when I called a couple of days ago? I went out with Carrie and Leah because I got lonely. Why didn't you answer? Not only did I call you back, but I called you several times over the weekend. My phone battery died. It was already pretty low when I called you. Sorry about that. You forgot to bring your phone charger with you? Yeah. That's not like you. Why didn't you buy a new one? Waste of money. I was coming home in a couple of days anyway. All right. He gives me a squeeze and says something about going to take a shower. He says a few more things after that, but I'm not really listening. Eddy has been on several business trips, but he has never left his phone charger. He's very meticulous when packing and checks his luggage multiple times before actually leaving. Even if he did lose his charger, I'm confident he would buy a new one just in case the hospital needed to get in touch with him. That's the point. It just doesn't add up. Furious, I decide to confront Eddy about it. I leave the dirty dishes in the sink and make my way to our bedroom. Immediately, I see Eddy's dirty clothes on the bed. Eddy likes to disrobe in the bedroom before hopping in the shower, and he has the annoying habit of throwing his dirty garments on the bed rather than in the hamper. It would be so easy to check Eddy's phone right now, to see whether or not he was lying about the battery being dead. Should I? Trust Eddy. Trust him. Why would Eddy lie to me? I don't need to verify everything he says to me. I trust him. Yeah. And if Eddy caught me checking his phone, that would devastate him. No, it's definitely for the best if I just trust him. After all, trust is one of the foundations that good marriages are built on, right? I'm about to return to the kitchen and finish doing dishes when a thought occurs to me. I grin as I reach for Eddy's wallet and wait for him to exit the shower. It's not long until Eddy enters the bedroom wearing only a towel. At that moment, I take all of the $1 bills that I had pulled from Eddy's wallet a few minutes ago and throw them at him. I love this marriage a lot better than I did hers and Aaron's. Take it off! Eddy merely blinks and stares at me wide-eyed. What? Suddenly I feel embarrassed. Maybe that joke was a little too distasteful for Eddy. It was a joke. A joke. A stripper joke. Oh. A cheeky grin forms on Eddy's face. Well, if that's the case. Hey. He leans down and kisses me, cupping my face in his hands. After several wonderful toe-curling moments, Eddy pulls his lips away from mine. Next, he moves them to my neck, kissing it softly as he meanders down to my shoulder. I just remembered it's a Winterwolves game. Ha! Prostitutes aren't supposed to kiss their clients. Haven't you ever seen Pretty Woman? I giggle at my own joke and run my fingers through his thick hair, thoroughly enjoying this rare moment of passionate intimacy. I thought I was a stripper, not a prostitute. Ah, you're right. You may continue, I guess. I fall back onto the bed. I kick Eddy's dirty clothes onto the floor while he helps me remove mine. Soon the distance between us is erased and my feelings of loneliness and doubt are eased through our act of love. After we're doing making up for lost time, we both freshen up and head out to dinner. Eddy tells me all about his business trip while I listen and smile blissfully, wondering why I ever doubted the man that I love. Just a roll in the hay and she's good as rain. Eddy complains that I've been snoring at night. He says it's a sign that I'm not getting enough sleep overall. Fine. And... well, that's not enough for my energy. Oh, why did I go for... I meant to do this. Okay. Start. Thank you. Taking time. Shush, girl. Shush. Man, I'm gonna get to 99%. Barf. Getting in touch with my artistic side. Okay. Dinner. I tried an intricate recipe I found online and it turned out okay. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again, again. Again, again, again. Yahoo! Scene 6! Yay. I down another cup of coffee as I rest quietly in the vacant staff lounge. It's 7 a.m. and I'm coming off of a long and taxing night shift, but I just have one more patient to attend to and then I can leave. Eddy's working too, but he won't be able to come home until later tonight. Another day all by myself. How wonderful. I flip through the pages of my clipboard until I find the patient that I'm about to see. Nathan Farrell, age 85. Admitted 3 days ago with a severe case of pneumonia. In addition to having inflamed, fluid-filled lungs, the patient's blood pressure has also dropped dramatically. Check for signs of complications that can arise from pneumonia. Bacteremia, pleurisy, empyema, lung abscesses, and kidney failure. Due to the patient's heart disease and old age, close care and attention is required. I frown. This patient sheet is especially grim. Most people write pneumonia off as an exaggerated cold, but few know that it's the 8th leading cause of death in the U.S. Wow. 1 out of 20 adults die from pneumonia, and the statistics for the elderly who are inflicted with it are even less forgiving. I drank the little bit of coffee that's left in my mug before tucking my clipboard under my arm and making my way out of the staff lounge. Be cheerful, make sure he takes his medicine, and then you can go home, Amy. Just one more patient. I knock on Nathan's door as a courtesy before entering. Did they just reuse the Gwenda picture and then made it look more manly? Suspicious. As I swing the heavy door open and enter the room, I'm surprised to see that Nathan's room is full of light. Apparently, he had requested that the last nurse open his blinds. This is unusual since many patients, especially the elderly, try to keep the room as dark as possible so that they may sleep away their time in the hospital. As you can imagine, this makes it difficult for me to keep up my upbeat demeanor, since most of the rooms that I visit are dark and gloomy. Not Nathan's room, though. But the natural light isn't the only unusual thing about this room. Most patients keep their TVs on at all times, usually programmed to the same kinds of shows: sitcoms, courtroom dramas, crime dramas, and cartoons. Because of this, I've come to hate watching those types of things when I'm at home with Eddy. I immediately flip past them and get angry if Eddy doesn't do the same. However, Nathan's TV is off. Instead, he's reading. Reading. Like an actual physical book. You don't understand how rare it is for me to see this in my line of work. Nowadays, it seems like everyone is glued to their TVs or their smartphones, even most older folks. Yes, Nathan's room appears to be quite different from my other patients, and is remarkably cheery for a hospital room. The only thing missing is bouquets of flowers and cards from loved ones. In fact, his room is completely devoid of them. Where is his family, I wonder? I clear my mind and offer my usual greeting. Hello, Mr. Farrell. How are you feeling today? Nathan looks up from his book and smiles. He removes his reading glasses and places them on his breakfast tray before answering.
Oh, I can't complain.
I glance at his heart rate number displayed on the monitor and scribble it down on the clipboard. He should be complaining. His heart rate is lower than it should be. Doesn't he feel lethargic? After a quick check of his vitals, my fears are confirmed. He's getting worse. A little sullen, I grab a new antibiotic IV drip and switch it out with his near-empty one. I scribble a few more notes on my clipboard, one of which mentions the need for additional and more drastic treatment, then turn to Nathan. Well, Nathan, we're going to continue to keep an eye on you. I've replaced your IV bag, so you won't need another one for a while. We want to encourage you to keep coughing because we need that phlegm out of your lungs, okay? We can bring you more pain medication if your throat gets sore. Just press the call button and a nurse will come right away. Regarding your treatment, a doctor will probably stop in later today to take a better look at you. We might try some stronger treatment, like respiratory and oxygen therapy. I know that those might sound scary, but neither one are invasive therapies. Respiratory therapy just involves deep breathing techniques that could help break up mucus. We might also apply a vibrating device to your chest to help break it up. It won't hurt. It's actually quite relaxing. Additionally, it's possible that the doctor might prescribe oxygen therapy, which will require you to wear an oxygen mask. This is simply to ensure that your cells are getting enough oxygen to repair themselves and function properly. Do you have any other questions before I leave? He smiles, causing crinkles to form in the corners of his eyes.
Thank you, young lady. You've been so kind to me.
I blink. Kind? I'm coming off of an 8-hour shift. If anything, I'm more curt than normal.
I know I'm getting worse, but I appreciate you sparing my feelings.
Embarrassed, I bite my lip. It's not our policy to outright tell patients that their condition is worsening. However, we have the best health care available, and I've seen unbelievable turnarounds. Trust me, you're not too far gone. You can beat this, and it's important that you maintain a fighting spirit. The old man appears genuinely pleased.
What a smart young girl. I hope you never lose that mentality either. Never give up, young lady. In all things, fight until the end.
His words strike a chord with me. Never give up. Never surrender. In all things, fight until the end. It wasn't long ago that I was seriously contemplating giving up on my marriage. Tears start to well in my eyes, but I quickly blink them back. How stupid I had been.
Miss?
I bring my attention back to the real world and turn to Nathan. Yes?
I hope you don't mind me saying, but I can sense something troubling you. It's a shame to see such a smart young lady bogged down with worry. I know that you likely have no interest talking to a boring old man like me, but I want you to know that I'm willing to lend an ear if you need one.
I smile, sincerely warned by his concern. I might just take you up on that offer. I tuck my clipboard under my arm and exit Nathan's room, taking great care to gently close the heavy door. And I'm done! Well, almost. Before I'm allowed to leave, I have to inform the incoming nurses who will be taking over my rounds of all the patients' current conditions and background information. This is sorry about that, guys. I had run out of space again. Let's finish up. I think I got back to where I was. Of course, I hadn't saved any of that, so all of my stats are going to be completely different now. Barf-a-roni, but what can you do? Let's just finish the scene, and then we'll worry about stat changes later. This is a pretty easy task for me, since I naturally have a good memory, and I also take notes throughout the day. Oh, hey! First time I've seen you in your doctor's outfit in this route. As I'm beelining down the hallway towards the nurse's station to give my end-of-shift report, I spot Eddy and two of his colleagues. One is Luke, a hard-working and middle-aged doctor that Eddy has mentioned, and the other is a woman I've never met. She's young, attractive, and based on her lab coat, I'm assuming she's a doctor. I'm drawing closer to Eddy and his group. Our eyes lock, and I feel a spark ignite in my chest. I haven't seen Eddy in 8 hours, and he likely won't be home until late this evening. Part of me wants to take advantage of this moment, but I'm not sure how Eddy will react. What should I do? Oh boy. Be honest with him, trust him. I don't know. I mean, this is ridiculous. We shouldn't really. What if I save, though? What if I just use my saves, though? We go for the kiss. If it ends in a bad end with us getting kicked out of the hospital, then I can reload. Carpe Diem! YOLO and all that. Eddy and I hardly ever see each other, and I want to get a kiss. And we're married, so kissing in public is allowed, right? Surely the other doctors will understand. Ah! Woo! 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 I remember this picture. This is the epilogue picture of Always Remember Me. I take several deliberate steps in my husband's direction and quickly press my lips against his. I leave them there while my hands are pressed against his chest, waiting to see his response. Much to my relief, Eddy wraps his arms around my waist and kisses me back, albeit after a few seconds of hesitation due to the initial shock. We pull away from each other, both a little embarrassed, but ultimately pleased with our spontaneous act. Eddy is especially flushed. How cute. His ears are even red. How cute. Something that only happens when he's incredibly embarrassed.
Oh, to be young and in love.
Eddy laughs nervously and sputters out a response.
Well, you know, we're both so busy. We really have to take advantage of the few moments that we have, you know.
The older man eyes me for a second, then speaks again.
You're Amy, correct?
Yes, sir.
You attended to one of my patients today, I believe. A Mr. Nathan Farrell?
Yes, I did. In fact, I had a few notes about him that I wanted to share with you. His condition is declining.
I figured as much. He didn't look good when he was admitted. I'll drop by and take a look at him when I have a chance.
Personally, sir, I think that respiratory and oxygen therapy would do him a lot of good. Luke grins, clearly impressed with my summation.
You're a fine nurse, you know that.
My cheeks redden at his comment, and I notice that Eddy's beaming larger than before. Thank you, sir.
Pretty and smart. Where on earth did you find this one, Eddy? I know, I'm a very lucky man. No, seriously, where did you find her? All my wife does is watch Dancing with the Celebrities. All these shows. I'm lucky she doesn't fall asleep before 8 p.m., and even then she's too tired to do anything.
Whoa, too much information! I look away uncomfortably and notice that the woman with them is eyeing me angrily. Is she jealous? Wow, a beautiful, successful doctor is jealous of a klutz like me. I should soak in this moment. I don't know if it will ever happen again. Eddy notices Lorna and I exchanging glasses, and clearly not sensing the animosity, decides to introduce us.
Oh, I guess you two haven't met. Lorna, this is Amy, my wife.
Lorna extends her hand and snarls an acknowledgement through gritted teeth. Her tone is anything but pleasant. It's a pleasure. Her grip is tight, almost like she wants to rip my arm off. What's her problem?
Well, let's separate these ladies, otherwise they'll stand here and talk all day.
Huh. Yeah, I highly doubt that. We'd more likely stand here and shoot invisible laser beams at each other through our eyes. Did you want the Eddy butt before I got in there? I notice that Luke laughs especially hard at Eddy's comment. Why are men so inept when it comes to our emotions? If looks could kill, then Lorna would be a murderer. Why can't Eddy or Luke see the daggers in her eyes?
Well, we've got work that we've got to get back to. It was nice running into you, Amy. I'll see you later tonight.
And I'll have dinner ready. This time it won't be burnt. Probably. We all laugh, although Eddy's laugh seems forced, and then part ways. Even though I've just finished an 8-hour shift, I feel positively energized. That electrifying moment between Eddy and I, not to mention compliments and jealous stares from renowned doctors, has elevated me to cloud 9. Hooray! I'm glad we went for the was probably not a good idea thing, but it worked out all for the best. Yay, us.